guys, it's Amber. So welcome to another anti-haul. If these are videos that you enjoy, make sure you check out my playlist of my other anti-hauls. Before I get into it, I just wanted to give you a brief summary of what my anti-hauls are about. They may be a little bit different than what the popular anti-hauls are that are going around. So what I like to do with my anti-hauls is I like to pick products that I would normally be drawn to buy. This is no way a hate video, this is no way a product bashing or a company bashing video. It's basically, this is a way that I can look and see what new releases are out there, see what new trends are out there, see what new products I might be enticed to buy, and I go back and look in my collection. I think, what do I have that I could use instead? So these aren't going to be product dupes, they're not going to be formula or exact color shade dupes. They might not even be drugstore versus high-end or the same quality, but it's just more or less the way I like to go into my collection, which I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, I have a lot of makeup, I look at something I want to buy, then I pick something I already have to use instead. And it encourages me to shop my stash. Hopefully it'll encourage you to do the same. So today we're going to be doing indie brands. Now I hesitate to do indie brands because I never want to say anything negative about someone who's trying to build a brand from the ground up. I think it's amazing when women and men are out there doing their hustle and getting their brand started. I think that's awesome. I don't want anyone to take this as a slam against indie brands because I think that's really amazing. I think indie brand can mean different things to different people. Some people see it as more the underground Instagram brands that nobody's really heard of. Some people just define it as someone who's simply owned by their owner. They don't have another parent company who owns them. So please be kind. If there's something that I've included that is not technically an indie brand, just take it for what it is and just enjoy the video, because I did my best to do my research to make sure these are indie brands. In case there's a brand that's owned by somebody else, I apologize, but let's just get to it. So the first one I'm going to include is from Kylie Cosmetics. They recently launched their Naughty and Nice palettes, and I was looking at them and I think the one I'd be more drawn to is the Nice palette. So I was looking at it and it had some duochromes, some tans, some golds, and in this past month's Boxy charm, I got this Winky Lux kitten palette. It is so cute. Guys, I have really fallen in love with this little palette, and I was looking at that blue duochromy shade from the Kylie Cosmetics one, and I was like, I totally have a nice blue shade here. This shade is so fun, and this one actually, even though it's pink, it kind of gives that shift, so I could layer these and create a really cool blue iridescent-y look with those. Also, it has tans, it has a nice gold. This tan, of course, isn't as yellow as the one in the Kylie palette, and it's got a little bit of a touch of berries. They might not be quite as red, but overall, I feel like I could make a similar look using this palette. There's not as many shades, but I already own it, so it's money saved. Next is the Juvias Place Doce palette. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but it's a really cute little palette. It is $21.50, and I love the pops of greens and corals and pinks. And so I started thinking, what do I have that's going to give me that really ultra shimmery finish with some nice pops? And I was thinking about my Costal scents. But this is something I already own, and so I was looking at that. I've got some nice pinks there, that nice hot pink, a little bit of the green. So overall, I feel like I could get a nice pop using these instead of going out and purchasing the Juvias Place palette. Next is ColourPop. They brought out some Lesser Dust for about $7. And although they look amazing, I think this isn't anything new. This is just a loose pigment. I have so many loose pigments that I tend to forget to use, and I really should bring more of these out for the holidays. This is some that I got a while ago in a Ipsy bag. This is from Mica Beauty. But seriously, the idea of this loose pigment isn't anything new, so I'm not going to be even though it's only $7, I'm not going to be freaking out and going out and buying them. So I'm just going to pull these out and give them a little bit more love instead, and then I can still stay on the trend and not spend any money. The next one is a sold out palette. These are the Dose of Colors palettes. They have two, but the one that I really liked was the Berries palette. And when I looked at those berry shades, I was like, what do I have that has the berry shades? And I thought about what I have on my eyes today, and it's the Lorac Mega Pro 3. So if I open up this little bad boy, it's got this nice row of berries right here, and obviously tons of neutrals, everything else you could ever need. And I was like, you know what, for 32 bucks, I could skip the Marvelous Mauves and just use this instead. Okay, so next is Violet Voss. I like that Violet Voss has done some collaborations with YouTubers, and this one in particular I think has been around for a little while, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it in an anti-haul, and this is their collaboration with Nicole Concilio. I don't really know much about her. I've never watched her channel, so I don't have any opinion about her as a creator, but she did create this palette, and it is very warm toned. And, you know, that's been very popular in 2017. Warm tone palettes have been all the rage. So for me, this is obviously a similar price point to the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. And I don't really think with just looking at them, you would need to own both. So for me, I already own this. So this is what I'm going to choose. This has those orangey reds, the tans. It has basically everything that the Violet Voss palette has, a similar shade. And I mean, obviously it's still supporting a creator because this is made by Jaclyn Hill. So it felt like a good replacement for buying that because I already own it. All right, next Zoeva is releasing a brand new palette. I think this is coming out on the 4th of December. This is the Artisto palette. I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, it's a nice little palette. All of Zoeva's palettes are very affordable. They're about $26.50. And so I was thinking, you know, what do I have that has that like light green? It had this very distinct like light green color, and it had some warms and some blues. And I actually have two palettes. They're both from Smashbox that I felt like I could use instead. The first one being a holiday palette. This is Smashbox on the Rocks. So I was looking at this green shade right here. It has some blues I thought you could use. And then the other one is also from Smashbox. This is the wondervison palette. And this also had some greens and blues, and I felt like I could get a similar look using one of those two palettes. So, all right, next, Sigma Beauty brought out a Chroma Glow highlighting palette. Now this is very unique. I feel like it's a multi-purposeful product because it could be used as eyeshadow for fair skin or highlights for deeper skin and medium skin. For me, I don't think it would really work as a highlight, so I'd probably go through my collection and see what I had as far as duochrome shadows and use those. And also, I could pull out something like my Hard Candy Iridescent, and this has a little bit of that purpley blue shift to it if I wanted to get that cool toned highlight. The palette sells for $39, so that's $39 I've saved. I feel like Sigma Beauty has been kind of like one of the first kind of independent makeup brands that was popular from YouTube, and used to hear about it all the time. All the influencers were talking about it, and then came out Morphe, and it was like Morphe, 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 Morphe. And the brushes were cheaper, and some of the products were cheaper, and so I feel like everybody kind of jumped on the Morphe ship. So I'm glad to see like Sigma coming back and kind of like introducing products again, and kind of hearing people talk about them again, because I'm like, yeah, Sigma was a good brand. It just kind of like fell by the wayside for me, at least for a few years, and now I feel like it's coming back again. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, next is from Makeup Geek. Makeup Geek is one of those brands that I've had on my anti-hauls a lot, not because I don't like it. Hey guys, so I cannot even explain to you all the problems I had filming this video. I tried filming it into sections, and then I couldn't tell if my memory card was full or my battery was dead, but I could not film anymore. And so I'm just going to voice over the rest of it, but I really thought that the things I wanted to share were really worth sharing, so I'm going to go ahead and share them anyway. So going on with the Makeup Geek foiled lips, these are very beautiful. They're $15 each, but I have a ton of these glosses. They're kind of liquid lipsticks rather, from Shop Massé. These are $1. And so it's like I already have a ton of these, so I'm just going to pass on the Makeup Geek. Although I think that it's awesome that Marlena has built this brand from the ground up, and I think she's a super awesome lady for doing that. And I definitely need to try some in the future, but not today. Today I'm going to save myself some $15 and use what I've got. All right, next is the Laura Lee Cat's Pajamas. Now, I don't hate this as much as everyone else does, and I can see where people think that, oh, it's another warm palette, but I'm like, if it's what she likes. And I'm not even a Laura fan. Like, I'm not a fan of hers at all. I don't watch her videos, you know, not a fan. But I do like the colors besides Oddball. I feel like Oddball wasn't very pigmented in the swatches that I saw. But overall, like, I was like, yeah, there's some pretty decent pigment. And it's not her fault that there's 5 billion warm palettes out there. And I liked the kind of purple. I think they were kind of similar. But again, you know, do I need it? No. But am I going to like drag her for it? No. So this is $40. And so instead of buying this, I'm just going to pull out my Modern Renaissance. This has a bunch of warm shades. Obviously, it's not a dupe by any means. But if I wanted a really nice, fun, warm look, then I could just use this instead. All right, and my last one is a colored Raine palette. This is the Beauty Rest palette. It's $36. And they had a collection of several palettes that they just released. And this is the one that spoke to me the most as far as something I'd be drawn to. Again, another warm palette. But when I looked at it, I'm like, man, this is so much like my PUR Soiree Diaries. Like almost exactly the same shades. So for me, I would just save myself 36 bucks and use this. That's one of the reasons why I love BoxyCharm, is it gives me these fun little palettes and I get to try them out. Anyway, that is everything. A lot of money we've saved here today by shopping our stashes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!